Hope everybody is doing well today. A couple of typhoons passed by, heading into Taiwan and on to central China. And at the moment, lots of flooding, even right here in front of me. Water level is between 1 and 1.5 meters deep. For you who are not comfortable with meters, about 4 to 5 feet. But this typhoon is past. But what I really have in looking at for this video is the subject of economics and war. And at times, both of them can be the same. Economic is the economic war, and I guess all wars are economic. And this one, or the current wars that are taking place, are all about economics. See, what we have is the end of an era, or as some of you who read the Bible, some of you I should say, a small minority, that about 1%, maybe less than that. The era is a time when certain events take place. And those of you who have been alive during at the end of World War II, you have seen the rise of America. In 1970, first they took over the major production of everything on the planet, but I guess that's about what you can say. It was after World War II, Britain had a lot of colonies from which they were getting all kind of commodities. And they had turned over several of those to the U.S. so the U.S. war machine can rapidly produce what was needed for the war that Britain was fighting. So while Britain was trying to fight the war, America was the production facility. And then America decided, you know what, it's time for us to get in this war, kick Britain out of the way, and lead the world. And that's what they did. I was in England when America shot the pound from its position as the world trading currency. And they did so with the help of well, several people, but the leader of the group was the face, I should say, the face of the people who were leading the transition was Henry Kissinger. And as you can see, if you were looking at the situation just a year ago, the same Henry went to China and after that the US dollar just rolled off the cliff. Well, it was on the precipice and it just rolled off the cliff, and after that Kissinger died. So the dollar and Kissinger died about the same time. Not that the dollar is not going to be around, just like the name Kissinger is going to be around. What he said and did still going to be around. The dollar is still going to be around as a currency. But as the world's trading currency, that status is gone. Well, the world's only, I should say, that status is gone, because now there are several coming up. And from those that are kind of like moving up to the top, those people are going to have to choose a currency to be used as a trading mechanism between all of them. But this whole process is like a earthquake and a tornado all at the same time. The earthquake is shaking everything, damaging the buildings and everything, and the tornado is coming through and picking up all the debris and taking it to somewhere else. So the last time we saw an upheaval such as this was with Rome. Almost 2,000 years ago. And there's a cycle to this times, as the Bible calls them, error, epoch. There are several names to it. And if you're watching this and you're beginning to grasp what's going on, you should be preparing yourself, because you're also watching the political situation, which is similar to what happened after the Roman lost power. You got China, which is at the top economically, Russia, which is at the top militarily, and India beneath the two of them is like a child standing underneath his parents, you know. In between them, he's pushing the two of them apart so he can see it up. But poor India, because of its tragic, you can't even call it a tragedy, it's a wickedness. There's leadership instilled in the society. You got black people who see themselves as European, and instead of distancing themselves from the same colonial master that destroyed their country and people. They took on the same tragic what do you call it? The same direction they're going. The people who are the darkest complexion, guess what they're doing to the same thing that the Caucasian done to Africa. They are in Africa extracting the minerals, in some cases stealing them, just like the Caucasian. But anyway, India is neither here or there. How does it affect you as an African? In America, it's going to be tragic because people who call themselves the Black Americans, B1, whatever, and when I say Americans, I mean the Caribbean too. That's part of the Americas. Because the Caribbean people, if you look at them see themselves as as American. Okay, let's translate that. They have the same mentality as the Americans. The only thing they don't have the resources. Well, they weren't using the resources that they have, because throughout the Caribbean, I mean that whole basin from Bahamas all the way from, as a matter of fact, Florida, all the way down to Guyana and Brazil, is one big oil patch. It's bigger than Saudi Arabia. Bigger than the biggest one. There's only one more bigger than that. And let me keep that out of the picture. There's only one more bigger than that one. But all the way down to Brazil, all oil. And the water along the Atlantic Oceans underneath the Bahamas, going all the way down to Barbados, is not really deep. That's a ridge. It's only in the Gulf of Mexico and in the mid-Atlantic that it really drops off. You go 200 miles off the coast of Barbados, then it drops off into mid-Atlantic Trench. Goes straight down. But there are volcanoes down there. Nevertheless, all throughout the Caribbean, there are other minerals that are of value for the next world that we are about to live in. When I say the next world, I'm not thinking about moving off Earth. I'm thinking about the economic situation, the political and the technological situation that we're moving into. We should be in that now, 100 years ago. But they killed off the prophet who was sent to give them that information and kept it from the public. See, these things are given to people, and either they take or leave it. But you see Guyana now, Jamaica, Cuba has, but they refuse to let Cuba develop its oil. But with Jamaica developing it, pretty soon the Russian and Chinese are going to come in and help Cuba. And all the rest of the islands along the Caribbean. Because shaping up is that you have Canada and America as one economic unity, and Mexico is kind of like its south and its north. It's trying to stand between, but we'll have to make a choice. And with this, what people are calling Jewish woman as president of Mexico now, you know which way Mexico is going to go. Anyway, With all of that happening in America fighting to maintain its what people are calling hegemony, meaning that being the big man on top who dictates to everybody what's supposed to happen. When it's losing its status, guess what's happening? The nation who was considered a nobody, nothing, a resource that people can harvest, Africa. The young people are beginning to rise up. They have lost 4 generations. This, independence, after African independence or while independence was being formulated, World War II, or let's say 1919, 1920, up to today. 4 generations they have lost. The 4th generation is beginning to rise up. And when I say we lost 4, because the change, this generation that's doing the changes, if they were in place now, Africa would be in a different position in the world. So they've lost this now because they have to fight and give their lives to fighting to free Africa. And if you look at what's going on in Nigeria and Ghana and Kenya, South Africa, you got some things going on that you would like to see end quickly. But looking at the news coming out of Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya, like I said, the young people are rising up and saying, no, you can't do that to us. Stand down, let us start ruling ourselves, let us start taking care of our own, let us forget about this Caucasian man, let's do for ourselves. And the army, let's just look at some of the news, what the Nigerian army is saying to the people, but what the Kenyan army is doing, and the Nigerian army is getting ready to do. They're not saying to the people of Nigeria, look, you see what's going on, you understand your situation, you protest, you do whatever it is that you have to do peacefully to change the government and the way we're doing things to the way you think is best because you are the next generation. Nope, they're saying, we will not allow you to do this. Huh? These criminals are keeping the people who are destroying Africa in place. And if you see the places where the people at the top, the generals, are living a life of bounty and luxury, while the soldiers themselves, the policemen, the people the enforcers, are living in shacks. Anything that they can use to build a house with, that's what they use. But these are the same people who are pointing guns at the younger generation and saying, we're not going to let you overthrow this wicked, corrupt old man that has bled Nigeria. I mean, you look at how much money is stolen in Nigeria every day is enough to build Africa. 1 year of the theft, amount of money stolen in Nigeria, and I'm not even mentioning South Africa, Congo, Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso. Under the sands of Niger, Mali, and Burkina Faso, that area in the Sahara, Sahel they call it. Water, minerals, oil, everything that the whole world needs is there. Everything. There's a reason why Caucasians let them develop that area. That's what's like we have that there for when we move from Europe to Africa and let Africans go take Europe. now the old men are being pushed. And the funny thing is that the armies, instead of joining them to make sure that these things is done peacefully, so when the thing is finished, the country is not destroyed. The infrastructure is still there that they can start building rapidly. These old generals are, well, I agree, they have to keep their place, you know. They're among the ones who stole the resources. Because the oil can't disappear unless the generals in charge of the army participate in the theft of the oil. The Navy participate in the theft of the oil. I've heard numbers like 60, 50, 60, 70 billion in lost revenue every day in Nigeria. But anyway, I hope you're watching the situation unfold, doing something that is going to protect yourself, but it's going to help you if you're in Africa or if you plan to go in Africa. You can see the direction Africa is going in. Plan to help bring some resources, not just money. I'm talking about resources like economic plans. And not to build America in Africa or Europe in Africa, but to build Africa in Africa. Yes, we need roads, we need buildings, but the buildings that you can build in Africa are not supposed to be like the buildings that you build in America. Air conditioning systems in Africa should be more efficient because of the materials that you have. You don't need concrete. Look at how long the pyramid's been standing. The materials that build them came directly from the ground. There are buildings in Africa that have been around for thousands of years, and I'm not talking about two. So you don't need the technology that Europe stole from Africa. Well, when I say technology, I mean the building practices. The masons, as you would call them, I'm not going to go that direction, but the masons, the masonry, they try to build on our foundation, but they can't build the same way. So, like I said, when you come, your technological advantage that you're bringing, you know what to do and how to do things. The computer systems that going to need to be efficient, make Africa run efficiently. You know how to operate it. You know how to build it. You know how to create. Bring it with you when you come. How to grow. You know about the technology, how to grow. Because when you left Africa, that's why they took you out. That's why they took our parents out. Because they knew our parents, the ones that they took out, brought the technology with them, the knowledge with them that built Europe and America rapidly. They went from cave dwellers to the state that they're in today in 1,000 years. And if you look carefully at it, you'll see that from the 1600s to today, the pace of change, the pace of change in the Caucasian world was almost 1,000% of what it was in the past when the slaves from Africa came in. Don't fight with them over their foolishness about, we built America. We know who did it. It's time to stop that fight now. It's Stop arguing with foolish people. Stop. It's time to build. You see what the Chinese did in what, 50 years? Huh? That should take Africa 20 years. Because we have the knowledge to do it, the resources to do it. China didn't have the resources. We have the knowledge and the resources to do it. Period. Okay, everyone. Peace. Have a great day.